So if you've spent hours planning and replanning a Friday night out, I'm sure most of us have. If you've had to use so much jargon, if you've had to use so much jargon, customers think you are speaking a foreign language. I'm sure some of us would have also done that. If you've also had to organize your life into milestones, if you've referred to food at dinner parties as deliverables, and also if you've created a Gantt chart to plan your holidays, it means that you're a project manager, sorry. So I'm sure some of us would have actually done one of this, right? So if you've done any of this, I would just like you to drop in the comment section which you've done. And then we'll know that, yes, you are actually a project manager indeed. So just drop, if it's 1, if it's 2, if it's 3, 4, or 5, you can just drop in the chat. Which of these have you done? Someone said all. Nice. Okay. So you're a project manager indeed. Okay. Guess we'll just wait a few more minutes for others to drop. 3. Okay. Yes, organizing your life into milestones. So are the rest people saying you've not done any of this? I don't want to believe you've not done any of this. Okay, 4. Yes. 1. Okay, I can see more answers coming in. 2 to 4. Can you guys still hear me? 5 and 3. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so we'll just move to the next phase of the session. I would like for everyone to introduce yourself. Let's get to know you in the comment section. Your name, your city, your country, and why project management. Just drop in the comment section, wherever you're joining from. Drop your name, your city, and your country, and why project management. Dorcas from Canada, I see you. Okay. Oh, PM because you've a plan. Okay. Welcome, Dari from Okay, I see more answers coming in. Welcome, Dari from Lagos, Nigeria. Chelly from Canada, Calgary. Since we have a lot of Canadians here. We have more of Canadians here. Okay. Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to this session. We actually hope that you get a thing or two from the session. So we'll go to the next phase of the session. So now we would introduce our speaker. So here with us we have Adedayo Idowu. Adedayo started off project management while working as a business analyst. She has a master's in information technology, MBA, business analytics and entrepreneurship, PMP certified, CBAP certified, and CSPO. She loves reading, music, and she loves traveling. Okay. And she's also learning fashion illustration. Dayo is also a faculty member of BNET Learning, and she's currently a senior product manager at Visa. She also does coaching, mentoring, and learning. So if you would like to connect with Dayo via LinkedIn, her name is just down here, Dayo Idowu. Welcome, Dayo. It's great to have you here with us today.
Oh, thank you so much, Becky. I'm happy to be here today. Thanks for having me, BNET. It's been a pleasure working with the team. It's been a pleasure being part of the community. I'm so glad to be here today.
Thank you, Dayo. Welcome. So at this point, I would be passing it over to Dayo to take us through the session. So if you need to take your notes, your pen, please do so. I'm sure you'll learn a thing or two. So Dayo, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Becky. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the part of the world that you are. My name is Adedayo Idowu. Just like Becky said, I currently work as a senior product manager at Visa, but then before then, it's been a journey. So I started off my career as a business analyst, and while working as a BA, I started doing some project manager works, and then it went on for a while like that. And then at some point, I thought that I've been doing a work of a project manager. I think it would be good to learn the trade of project management and maybe just stop coasting around, but actually learn what project management is about, what is expected of a project manager, and the things that would help somebody to succeed as a project manager. So I decided to take the training. I had the training. I did my certification exam. And even before then, I actually had my full project manager role. But it's been a good experience. It's been a ride, understanding all of it. And even now that I work as a product manager, I think that the knowledge, having the skills, knowing the trade of project management is applicable across everything that we do, irrespective of your role in an organization. You're going to plan something, right? You're going to ask stakeholders that you'd engage. You know, there are lots of things that we do in our jobs that are related to project management. And so it's important having this knowledge, having the skill. It's something that cannot go out of taste. It's something that you cannot regret having. It's a knowledge that is super important and key to whatever you are doing, whatever the role, irrespective of what the title of your role is. However, today we'll be talking more about project management, and I want to start off with us understanding some key terms and concepts in project management. Like we all throw project around, right? Everybody say, well, I'm on this project, but what exactly is project? Like, what do we understand by project? I'd like to see if anybody wants to drop a comment on what they think project is. Like in your own understanding. So when you hear somebody say, I'm working on a project, what's your understanding of what a project is? It would be nice to see people drop comments. I'll try and monitor that. But let me just start off by saying that project is something that is temporary. So a project has a start date and an end date. A project is not something that goes on and on and on and on and on. So a project is, I want to create this product. I want to launch a service. I want to do something. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do this? So I know where I am now that I do not have this product, and my desire is to build this product. Then something is going to happen in between. I'm going to put something in place in between. Then I'm starting a project to build a product. I'm starting a project to start a service. And I have a goal in mind. So that's why we say that projects are temporary endeavors. They have a project always has a start and a hand. So it's not like something that goes on and on. Projects can stand alone, or it could be part of a program. It could be part of a portfolio. I'm sure we'll still talk about portfolio and program later on in this discussion. So now that we understand what project is, that it's a temporary endeavor, that a project must have a start and end. So what exactly is project management? Like I said earlier, when I started working as a project manager, quote and unquote, I was still a BA, but I was managing projects. I was working with different stakeholders. I was doing a lot of things that eventually I learned that, oh, these are the things that project manager does. So what is project management? So you have a knowledge, you have the skills, you have the tools, you understand techniques to manage a project. Remember, we said a project is an endeavor that is temporary, that we create to create a product. So when you apply your knowledge, your skills, your tools, your understanding of techniques, when you apply all of this to a project, that is exactly what project management is. So you are guiding a project work because you're trying to achieve an outcome. You're trying to deliver on something. I know that project managers, we use the word deliverable all around. Like we throw that word around. Everything is a deliverable. Even in our personal life, everything is deliverable. Everything has a milestone. Yeah, at this point of my life, I'm supposed to have done this. By this part of the year, I'm supposed to have done this, right? So when you begin to apply your knowledge of project management, your knowledge of the skills that you have, when you begin to use tools, when you begin to use techniques to achieve something, to achieve an outcome, that is what project management is all about. So irrespective of the kind of project that you're managing, sure, you know, project is not just in the tech world. Projects are all over. Even in non-profit, they have projects. Even in event management, there are some people that started off their project management career as event coordinators, as event managers. Even in that, there is a project you're managing. And by the time you're able to apply your knowledge, your experience, your skills, everything you've learned, when you are able to apply it to bringing out that body of work, to achieving an outcome, that's what project manager is. Then lastly, who is a project manager? Somebody that manages the project, right? It's as simple as that. Somebody that manages the project, somebody that has been assigned by an organization, irrespective of what that organization is about, irrespective of what the organization is doing, you've been assigned that, okay, this particular thing that we're trying to do, this particular project that we are working on, you are going to lead us through it. And I tell people that there are lots of things that we do even before we become project managers that are actually a work of a project manager. Because we all lead projects, we lead some activities, we bring people together and we lead them to achieve a goal. We facilitate work to be done. You work with people from different backgrounds, variety of functions, and you bring them together to achieve a goal. So a project manager has been assigned that, okay, Dayo, you're leading this project for us. Buki, you're leading this project for us. So simply that is what project management, and project manager is about. There are still some other things that we'll talk about. There's still some other contexts that we'll talk about. So I know that I threw the word outcome, I threw the word portfolio around. So what is an outcome? And outcome is the end result, the consequence of what you are doing. Now, there are two words, output and outcome. And there are lots of times that we interchange the use of those words. But for a project manager, it is very, very important for you to be able to distinguish between those two words, between output and outcome. Output could be, I have the A, B, C, D, E items to do. When I have done them, When I do A, I check it out. I check B out. I check C out. That is my output. But my outcome is, after doing A, B, C, D, what is the value? What is the end result? What is the consequence of going through those activities? What is the value in completing those tasks? And I say this, that outcome is more important to a project manager, because you don't want to mark yourself by what you have completed, but what is the value of those things? What is the value of the things you have completed? What value is it to the organization, or what value is it to you as a person, to the work that you're doing? What value is it? So an outcome is the consequence, the value that is embedded in the task that you complete, the value that is embedded in the activities that you've done. So that's what an outcome is. So as project managers, like I said, pay more attention to outcome than output. That's the long and short of that story. And then the next one is portfolio. You know, I mentioned earlier that we could have projects as part of a program or portfolios. There are some things that we would do. There are some things we're trying to work on. Assuming that we're trying to build a car. Maybe you're working for an automobile company and we're trying to build a car that flies, right? Maybe Toyota decide that, okay, now we want to build a car that flies so that will help Nigerians and everybody overcome traffic issues and all of that. So we're trying to build a car that flies. And a team would work on the hardware. A team will work on the mechanical part of it. A team will work on the software part of it. You know, building a car, there are so many components to it. So in building a car, there would be like lots of smaller projects that you would have to carry out, that you would have to go through to build the car. Now, when you bring all those smaller projects together, they go into what we call a program. So we have a related project. These projects are the things that we are doing to deliver this flying car. So the flying car thing is the program, while the projects underneath, they are projects. Now let's go back to portfolio. Let's assume that the reason why Toyota is building a car that flies is because they want to reduce carbon emissions. So we've all been talking about carbon emission. And I read earlier this week that some countries are actually banning the production of new fuel vehicles. So they're saying that we know we already have lots of fuel using vehicles all over, but don't produce more. So let's assume that Toyota is buying into that strategic move in the automobile industry. And they're saying that we also want to contribute to the carbon emission conversation that is going on now. So we are not going to produce any car that is going to use fuel anymore. We actually, now we know we have hybrid, but we also want to go electric. And eventually we even want to use the ones that will fly. Maybe they will, I don't know if they would have to, they can do that without fuel anyway. But let's assume that is what they are doing. So somebody is managing that strategic move of don't produce cars that would contribute to carbon emission anymore. So that is a portfolio. That is a strategic move, a strategic change within the organization. So for the portfolio manager, they have something so big that can be broken down into programs. And the programs can also be broken down into projects. So project feeds into program and program feeds into portfolio. I hope I'm able to communicate that clear enough. I'm trying to let us understand the difference between a portfolio, a program, and a project. So the portfolio manager for that strategic change in Toyota could have several other projects that are trying to help them achieve that strategic move of reducing carbon emission. There are so many programs. So they could be, okay, even the cars that we already have out in the new models that we are building, what can we do to reduce their carbon footprint? Okay, so our hybrid, we already have hybrid cars. What can we do to go fully electric? And even apart from the electric, what can we do to do the flying one? So we have the existing ones that we want to reduce their consumption. That is the program. We have the hybrid that we are moving to total electric, and we have the flying cars. Those are individual programs. Then inside of those individual programs, we have all the smaller projects. So essentially, what I'm trying to let us understand is the difference between the portfolio, the program, and the project, and how those are related to each other. And then the last one I have here is product. What is the product? Like, I've had people ask, okay, are you a project manager, a product manager? What is the difference between a product manager and a project manager? So a product is the artifact. It's the outcome. It's what you're producing from your project. I said earlier, the car example, Toyota is trying to build a car, a flying car. That is the product. And there is a product manager that is determining the features that goes into the flying car, into our flying car. There's someone that is called a product manager that is telling us, okay, in this flying car, based on our research, based on our conversation, based on what we think the customers want, these are the things that we should have in it. But we have this project manager that is actually managing the work, the task, the activities of producing the car. So a project is embedded in that, and what we are producing from that project is what we call the product. So moving on, the other concept that we have is we have the project team. Of course, when you're working on a project, you're not the only one doing the work, right? So you have different people, you have your stakeholders, you have your customers, you have your executive, you have the teams you're working with. So maybe the project manager for our flying car, as the electrical people, the mechanical people, the software people. You have a whole lot of people that you're working with. So anybody that you're working with in your project, they are your project team members. And we have what we call system for value delivery. Now, so recently, PMI has made a major pivot in project management. Some while back, project management used to be like, okay, we have tasks and processes, we complete our tasks and processes, like all of it. It's about the task, it's about the processes, it's about what you're able to complete, right? But now, even PMI has moved from the output mindset to the outcome mindset. So after you have completed all of this task, what is the value? So PMI is the organization, the global body for project managers. PMI is now helping project managers to build a system, to build a body of knowledge, to deliver value to our organizations. So we just don't want to be completing tasks. We just don't want to be ticking boxes that, yes, I have done this, yes, I have executed, yes, I have implemented, I have done all of this. We actually want to be able to say that this is the value. This is the value that I have contributed to my organization. This is how I have contributed value to my organization. So now project management is looking into like a collection of business activities, a collection of strategic activities that we are doing. So the question we're trying to answer is, my project manager activities, all my activities that I do as a project manager, how do they deliver value to my organization? What I am creating as a PM, as a project manager, should be aimed at delivering value to my organization. So there is a value mindset. No longer I have completed it. It's a value mindset. What value am I bringing on board? So we're talking about value, the what, the importance, the usefulness of something. It's no longer, oh, I've done my part and that is it. What you have done, How has it delivered value to the different stakeholders on your projects? And you know that we have stakeholders. Stakeholders, let me quickly say that stakeholders is anybody that has interest, that has any type of interest in the work we are doing. And we have different stakeholders, and our stakeholders, they perceive value in different ways. So a customer is your stakeholder. Your executive in the organization, they are stakeholders. The people you work with, they are stakeholders. So as a project manager, how are you able to carry out everything you do and deliver value in a way that each of these different stakeholders, they perceive value in what you're doing? In a way that they see that, oh yeah, that is actually a great project manager. She's giving me value, right? So that's the work of a project. It's not just I've done this work, but the people you have done it for, the people you're working with. So customer, is it solving my problem? Business executive, have you solved a customer's problem enough for us to generate revenue? What you have done, has it solved the customers enough problems enough for them to say, okay, this company is actually delivering value for me, I'll do business with them? And your different stakeholders, maybe the legal, the compliance people, whoever has interest, how are you able to deliver value for them? So as a project manager, that's what you want to keep thinking as you carry out your activities, as you complete your task, as you tick your boxes and dot your T's, dot your I's, cross your T's. You want to, okay, what I'm doing, am I delivering value? So why do we even have projects, right? Why do we even have projects in an organization? Like I said earlier, a project is, okay, I want to do this. This is where I am. What am I supposed to do to get to where I want to be? So why is the need? Why do we have need for a project? There are three broad reasons. The first one is because you want to drive a change. The second one is because you want to enable business value. And then the third one is you want to solve business challenges. So drive a change. Maybe, oh, we identify that our customers are not exactly happy with what we are doing as an organization. What can we do to make them happy? What can we do to make our customers satisfied or better satisfied? So we decided that, okay, let's launch this customer-centric project. And in this project, our goal is that at the end of the day, we have done things, we have implemented things that would make our customers happy. So we are launching that. Or maybe there is an organizational growth, maybe there is a strategic shift. Like maybe our focus used to be A, but now we want to shift our focus from A to B. So that's the strategic shift. And then we say, okay, for us to make this cultural change, maybe making that shift would involve some cultural changes. It could involve a whole lot of changes within the organization. So how do we drive this change? Then we bring the project management office in. Okay, these are the things we want to do. How do we go about it? Or to enable business value, there are new opportunities in the market. How do we tap into it? Or our competitors, they are overpowering us. What kind of response do we want to give to them? Or we've been operating regionally for a while. Now we want to go into the global marketplace. What are the things that we have to do? And the third one is about solving business challenges. There are lots of challenges coming up in technology, legal, regulatory issues. There are lots of challenges and we want to solve those challenges. How do we go about them? Okay, let's start a project and we'll call this project Oxygen because we want to give life to our business, or we call it projects, whatever. So let's start the project. So these are basically like three broad reasons why we need a project, why organizations kick off projects within their space. So this is just like giving us another oversight to who a project manager is. Project manager are change agents because don't forget that we're trying to deliver value and we're hoping that our value is bringing change to our organization. So yeah, we are change agents. We motivate workforce for results. So I always say this, as a project manager, you're actually managing the work, but leading the people. You're not managing the people, because when you manage people, you're not going to get the kind of results that you want to have a successful project. So you're managing the work, but you're leading the people. So how do you lead these people to drive results? How do you motivate them to give you the kind of results that you want? How do you motivate them to give you the kind of value that you want to deliver for your organization? And you know, the fun thing about project managers is you probably don't know how to do all of those things. Like, even when you know how to do them, right, you are not supposed to. Technically, that's not your role. So if you're not going to do those things and you have to depend on other people to do them for you, and those, whatever they are doing, their deliverables, their outputs, the outcome of their work, it's your own success depends on it, then you better find a way to motivate them to do it, because when they fail, like, your project fails. So as project manager, we motivate people, we lead people to get the kind of results that we want. And then we inspire change through results. It's not every time that you tell people that, oh, you tell your stakeholders that let's do this, and they will agree. There are times that they will say, oh, we don't think we need this project, especially when it has to gulp up some funds. Oh, we don't need to do this. But then you want to show what you're doing. You want to show them what you are able to do. You want to showcase results. And then someone that is certified to manage projects. So this doesn't mean that you cannot manage a project if you're not certified. However, the certification gives you more credibility. So PMP certification is recognized anywhere in the world. So it gives you more credibility. It shows that, oh yeah, this person understands the skills and the trade of project management, and they are able to do it. So yes, a project manager is someone who is certified to manage projects. So what differentiates project managers? There are project managers and there is a project manager. So what's the differentiator? We have self-belief. You are confident in yourself that you can do this, that you can work with people, because you work with people a lot. Then you never stop learning. Because as a project manager, you could be drafted into a project in a domain that you don't understand whatever it is they are saying. But yes, you have to be there and be a project manager in that space, right? And you need to understand what your people are doing to be able to work with them. You need to understand that domain. You need to understand that space. So if you're a project manager that's like, okay, I don't want to do any of that, and this is what I know and this is what I want to do. Unfortunately, even those things that you know and want to do evolve. So when they evolve, when those things evolve, how do you manage it? So as a project manager, you keep learning and learning and learning, because you are not stuck with a particular domain. You could be drafted. Like, the joy of being a project manager is I could be drafted into any project. I could be drafted into any industry. Yeah, you could also decide that you want to niche down in a particular industry. But then be diverse, learn, like, have a wide horizon of what. There are lots of things you can do and you can learn as a project manager. So one of the differentiators of an outstanding, excellent project manager is they never stop learning. They are lifelong learners. The communication, technically what you do as a project manager is 90% communication. So if you are not a communicator, really, it's a skill that needs to be developed. And then project manager that walk the talk, like, you do the work and they are results oriented. So why do project managers fail? So this thing is like, it's like an iceberg, right? There are lots of things happening underneath. There are reasons underneath, but we can see something. So we are seeing a project manager. What is visible to us is a project manager that delegates their authority, a project manager that delegates their responsibility, that they're not performing their role, they're not removing blockers for their team members, they're not motivating their team, they're not leading their team to do the work. But there are things underneath. There are reasons why they are doing this. There is a reason why a project manager would not be performing their role as a project manager. There is a reason why a project manager would not remove blockers for their team members, would not motivate their team members. And number one reason is when a project manager lacks the understanding of how project management should work. So when you as a project manager, you don't understand what you should do as a PM, you don't understand that as a PM, I'm supposed to remove blockers for my team members. You don't understand that as a PM, I'm actually meant to be leading the people, not managing them. Then there is a problem. What you don't know, you can't do it. So if you don't know what's expected of you, you don't know that as a PM, you're not expected or required to do the tactical work, but you're responsible to lead your team to do them. So you're engrossed in doing what you're not supposed to be doing, but really, how much of this work can you complete, right? So that's a project manager. If you don't understand what you should do as a project manager, if you don't understand how project management how it should work, if you don't understand the skills, the trade of project management, then you will not be able to carry out the responsibilities, and then the project will not be a success. And the other part that, like I said earlier, like 90% of what you do as a PM is communicate. You communicate with your team members, you communicate with stakeholders, irrespective of that level, of the level of the stakeholders. So we have the very, very senior stakeholders. We have the people that you need to be on their neck every time. You have the people that you need to communicate with every week. You have the people that you can communicate with bi-weekly or monthly. And as a project manager, you need to understand all of this. So if a project manager lacks communication, and the second one, interpersonal skills, that's it. Like, that's just the end. Because you're working with people, it's hard enough working with people. Now, you cannot manage the people you work with, really. So these are basically reasons why you'd see a project manager that is not standing up to their responsibilities. So why project managers feel we want to ensure that we understand the way things work, the things we're supposed to do as project managers, and we also want to develop our skills, interpersonal skills. This is super important. Interpersonal skills and communication skills is super, super important. It's super important. Now, I know that this webinar, we're supposed to talk about project management, and also we want to talk about some tools that we use as a project manager. So right now, I'll be moving to speaking through some tools that we use as a project manager. And basically, we're focusing on two tools that we think all project managers need that are important for the work that we do. So we have introduction to tools, and we're talking today about Confluence and Jira. We probably have heard about it. You probably know about Confluence. You probably know about Jira. Like, it's a name these are names in the industry that we're all familiar with. But what exactly is Jira? What exactly is the software Jira? Initially, I was watching something, I think in the course of the week or 2 weeks ago, and learned that Jira was designed, it was created by some group of people that were trying to find a solution for themselves. I think they're Japanese, and then they were working with bug and issue tracking, and they needed something to help them track their work, like to keep their work in place and be able to follow through. And they created this tool called Jira. But today it has evolved. Jira is a product of a company called Outshare, and it is both Jira and Confluence. And the company, they've created a whole bouquet of tools that is used in any industry. Like, it's the tools that they've created from that company is just so massive, and Jira and Confluence is one of them. So like I was saying, Jira has evolved into a powerful work management tool. So we use Jira for all sort of use cases, from requirements, you create your requirement, you create your test case, to agile software development, even not just agile, anything that you're trying to do. You can use Jira to manage all sort of projects. You can configure it to fit into any type of projects. So and on the platform, there are project templates. You can create your own custom workflows. Jira is just a tool that is so versatile to use, and we'll still talk more about Jira. And then Confluence is a workspace where you can share knowledge and collaborate. So basically, Confluence is the collaboration tool. It's more in organizations, we call the Confluence sites, we call them wiki pages. Basically, it's like an open slate for you, where you're able to create anything, you can document anything, you can get your teams to collaborate, you can share knowledge efficiently. You can capture your project requirements, assign tasks, you can do a whole lot of things with Jira, with Confluence. And I say that Confluence is very important because, like we've been saying, that communication is important. And in project management, there are like these two forms of communication that we talk about. We talk about the push communication and we talk about the pull communication. Push communication is me as a project manager, let's say I'm sending reports, I'm sending updates to my stakeholders. And the pull one is I have created a site and I keep updating that site, I keep updating that page with every important information for my project, that anybody that has any question, they can just go to that site. And once they're able to read through the content of my wiki page or my Confluence page, they will have a good understanding of the projects. They would know why we are doing this. They will know where we are at the moment. They will know the things we want to do. So Confluence is really, really good for communication, because apart from the fact that you can create these things and invite your team members, your stakeholders to collaborate on the Confluence page itself, you can also use it to share knowledge efficiently. So at my workplace, we use wiki pages a lot, and for every of our projects, you have wiki pages, and on the wiki page, as we are going for meetings and people are asking questions, we have a sub page there that we have frequently asked questions. So any question that you have, that people have asked us, we dump it there, we provide the answers there, so that in the nearest future, as we continue on the project, anybody that wants to know about a particular project, we can send them the wiki page and they can go through it to get the knowledge that they need. And even for me, I use that to understand some projects that they've done even before I joined the organization. Like, okay, is there a wiki page I can go to and I read through it to understand the why of the project, what they are trying to do, what they have done, where they are at this moment. So these two tools, they are super important. So let's talk more about Jira. Like I said, Jira is a tool that is used for used by project managers, and we use it to create and define the workflow of our projects. And another important thing is that we use it to track. So for my project, I need to complete task A, B, C, D, E, F. And I go to Jira, I create a Jira for my Jira ticket or a Jira issue for my project, and I dump all of those tasks there. And after dumping the task there, I'm able to assign the task to different people on my team. And everybody can come there to put comments like, okay, so this is what I want you to do. If you have any question, you can drop a comment on it. And by looking at that issue on Jira, we are all able to understand everything that has gone wrong, everything that has gone on the project, on that particular ticket, that particular issue that we've created on. So we can track where we are. And also Jira has a lot of templates as well. So we have the Kanban boards as well, where you're able to manage, these are the work in progress, these are the things we are working on, these are the things that we have completed. We have such boards on tools too. So even if you're trying to, apart from managing the task, for your team. If you're trying to manage the whole bouquet of tasks for the team, you can create the Kanban board and everybody is able to see these are the things that we are supposed to do. You can even show where those tasks are pending. So these are the things we're supposed to do. These are the people responsible for them. These are the ones we are working on, and these are the ones we have completed. That's a part of it. And there are other ones that you say, okay, for this set of activities, these are the people that are responsible for each of them. And this is where we are. So we can look at the board and see that this particular task has been on this person's stage for a while. Then we want to keep asking questions. Okay, is there a problem? Why are you not moving it forward? So Jira is as versatile as that you can manage your whole team's activities, and you can also double click and manage individual tasks for your team members. So you have the relevant projects, you have the task details in one place, including the member that is working on it, including comments and feedback, and even due dates. And as a result, everybody, we can see what we are doing, right? Everybody has visibility of the entire project. Everybody has visibility of the entire project. And because as a project manager, I've said this over and over, that it's your responsibility to lead the people on your team and manage the work done. So the part of you managing the work done is also important for you to, it's important to have an oversight of how things are progressing on your team. And then we have this other one, like Confluence. I spoke to Confluence a little. So I said it's another tool from, like I said, from Atlassian. And one thing you don't want to exempt from your work, like this is super important because you work with people. One thing you don't want to exempt from your work is collaboration and communication. And like I've been saying, that 90% of what you do as a project manager is communication. So you can use Confluence as a knowledge management tool and also as a collaboration tool. Okay, Buki, do we still want to show some things online about?
Okay,
Jira?
thank you, Dayo. So I would just quickly take us through just to show us how Confluence and Jira looks like, right? And what we can do with it, just a quick one. So I'll share my screen now. Okay. So this is Confluence, right? Daya had spoken about how you can use Confluence to create certain documents, wiki pages, and all of that. So on Confluence, yeah, you can actually switch to Jira because they are both Atlassian products, right? So once you're on Confluence, once you've created an account and you are in Confluence already, you can just switch to Jira. There's also Jira Work Management and some other things that you can switch to. Also, just move this here. Okay. So also here we have the home at the top menu. We have home, we have recent, we have spaces, people, apps, templates. So there are also a couple of templates that you can use to create your documents. Maybe you want to create, just an example, a work breakdown structure. You want to create maybe a project plan or something, right? So once you click on templates, you get to see different templates that you can use and click on, right? Okay, this we can see project plan, get a whole lot of project kickoff, one-on-one. There are a whole lot of templates that you can use right here on Confluence. And on the other side where you have apps, you would see that there are some apps that can be integrated into Confluence, like Slack, Google Drive, and Lucid Chat, all right? And then people, there you see collaborators, because Confluence is a very collaborative tool, right? You can invite your teammates, create a team, invite your teammate to work on your document together, right? Then we have spaces. For spaces, so you can create a space, and under a space you can have several documents, right? So like this one, you can see we have a space called BNET Learning. Under BNET Learning, if we click on it, you would see that it brings out the different pages, right, that we have under BNET Learning, because you can create pages, but I'll quickly come back to that. Then under recent, you get to see all the recent documents that you have created, you have worked on, visited, the ones you've worked on, the ones that draft, and then the ones you've started, right? So to create a document, all you need to do is just click create, and then you'll be able to create a document or a page, right, on Confluence. I would say Confluence is just like, is similar to Google Docs or any other documentation tool, right? Just that it is a whole lot more. The same for you can also format your text and all of that, just like you do on Google Docs and the rest. So once you're done, there's a publish button, you publish, and then everybody that you've added to the page would actually see that you've published the page, and then you can move on from that. So I would just also show us what a page would look like, right? So I would show us one of our pages that we did sometime. Okay, so this is a website project page, right? So here you can see the overview, the task follow-up. You can also assign people to your tasks, right? So once you input their names, they would get a notification that they've been assigned a task, and then you can drop attachments. You can do so much with Confluence, actually, a whole lot with Confluence. And when this is done, you publish, like I said. So then you can create pages. On the left-hand side, you would see where we have overview, blog, space setting, apps, when you want to integrate certain apps. You see the pages. So if you want to create page, all you need to do is click the plus button, and there are just a whole lot. I'm sure if you get to join the class, you would learn a whole lot better about what Confluence can do. So I would also take us through what Jira looks like. So Jira is, like Dayo had mentioned, Jira is used for tracking issues, and there are also certain templates that you can use on Jira. So just like Confluence, you would see the menus at the top. You see your work, you get to see all the work that you've created. You see your project. So if you click here, you would see, because this one I'm currently viewing is one project, right? So you get to see all your projects. So if I click on view project, you would see all the projects that you've worked on, or that you're currently working on, right? Then we have filters. If you want to, maybe you've added some filters and you want to just filter through your project or search issues across all the projects. Then we have the dashboard. If you want to just have an overview of your dashboard, you just come here to click, and then we have people, we have apps, and to create, all you need to do is just create, right? So you see, you input all the necessary details and all of that. So there's actually a whole lot to do with Jira as Confluence also. So yeah, that is it about Confluence and Jira. So at this point, I would pass it back to Dayo to continue with the project management certification bootcamp. Dayo, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Becky. Thank you for walking us through that. So now, because this is us talking about PMP, and like I said earlier, that PMP is a certification under PMI. So what's the benefit of this certification? One thing is you become a member of the word community of PMs. There is nothing like being in the professional community. You have your certifications, you have access to tools and resources, and then the personal and professional recognition that comes with this. And yes, you can also learn more about the PMI Project Management Institute, the benefits of being a member of that global organization. So I'll be moving on to talking about the PMP certification, the PMP certification bootcamp at BNET. So basically, this is a certification bootcamp where you are being prepared for the examination to pass your PMP exam. That's why I say not just to write. You're being prepared to pass the exam, as well as to being a better project manager at work. And it's delivered online via virtual interactive classroom. That it's a weekend class. So we have classes Saturdays and Sundays, and what are the things you need? Just your laptop. And we also have this option of you getting this hands-on experience. So just like what I discussed, what Buki has shown us now, we're able to have hands-on experience on using Jira, on using Confluences. And also you have access to faculty members to ask any questions, to seek guidance, to get clarification about anything, maybe things you learned in class or things you come across in the course of your study, or probably in the course of your work that you're doing, questions you have. So these are the benefits of being in this certification. And one thing I dare say is that BNET isn't just about training you. BNET would coach you through the journey, will follow you through it. We don't just teach and say, okay, we've taught you and you can go on your way. We take you through every step of the journey. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll be happy to take any questions now. I know that we're out of time. I think we can still squeeze in some. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dayo. Thank you. So now we have now we are going into the Q&A session, right? So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat box so we can quickly take those questions. I think we have one question somewhere. So okay, someone said, yeah, where does the project management office come in?
Where does the project management office come in? So project management office is like a group of project managers. So the project management office actually manages the project managers. So we have someone that is probably what we call, maybe they call lead project manager, or the group project manager. There are assigned project managers to project, and depending, when you go through the learning of project management, there are different types of project management office. We have the ones that would only support the project managers, and we have the ones that will say, okay, these are the templates you can use. This is how we want you to do the work. So that's where project management office comes in. They manage the project managers. So yeah, project managers, we have managers as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Dayo, for that answer. Any other questions before we wrap up? I think the other questions are being answered in the chat box. So if you need to rewatch the video, this video, you just need to check on our YouTube page. It will be uploaded there, all right? And also the details about, okay, I see people also asking about details of the bootcamp, and we also have the answers in the chat box. Also, before we go, I would like us to, there's a form in the chat box, right? A form link. So I would like us to fill that form because we would like to get your feedback about this program, and would also, if you're interested in the bootcamp, please make sure you fill the form and also give us a feedback on the program. Thank you. And the bootcamp is going to be for about 7 weeks, right? It's a 7 weeks bootcamp, 5 weeks for the PMP certification bootcamp and 2 weeks for the tools training. However, if you would like to do just the certification bootcamp, you can actually pay for that, right? But when you pay for the training, the tools training and the bootcamp, you actually get discounts, right? So, and yes, it's 7 weekends, right? Not so our classes run during the weekend. So 7 weekends and you become PMP certified. And for those of us that, I'm sure by now we all know what BNET Learning is about. So I'll just say thank you all for joining us today. And if you don't know what BNET Learning is about, BNET Learning is a learning and development platform for professionals. We offer trainings, project management, business analysis, data analysis, and so on. So if you would like to do any of the trainings, please make sure you come to us. Our details are also in the chat box to contact us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. At this point, we would be closing the session. Thank you.